Do you know how something as small and ordinary as a single spoonful of sugar on your breakfast table is actually made from towering fields of green sugarcane, grown under the hot Australian sun? It's a process so extraordinary, so carefully orchestrated, that once you learn it, you will never look at sugar the same way again. Because behind that simple sweetness lies an entire story of ancient history and modern technology, of fire and water, of farmers and families, of science and resilience. Today we begin a journey unlike any other, from the planting of a humble cane stalk to the sparkling crystals that circle the globe. This is the journey of sugarcane in Australia. Sugarcane's global roots and Australia's history. Long before sugar became part of your tea, your coffee, your desserts, and your everyday meals, it began as a wild grass in Southeast Asia, thousands of years ago. Back then, there were no refineries. People cut and chewed the raw stalks, savoring the liquid inside. Over centuries, the crop spread across continents through trade and migration, reaching India, Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. By the time it arrived at Australia's doorstep in the 1800s, sugarcane had already transformed economies and cultures. Australia's story with sugar is more than 2 centuries old. In the 1860s, along the coast of Queensland, farmers planted the first stalks. The land was perfect, humid, sunny, fertile. The crop flourished. But history holds shadows too. In those early decades, thousands of Pacific Islanders, known as Kanakas, were brought to Australia, often under harsh and exploitative conditions, to cut cane by hand. It was backbreaking work, blistering heat, thick, sharp leaves, stalk after stalk, day after day. Their labor powered the birth of the industry. Over time, generations of families took root in those cane-growing regions. Small farming communities grew into bustling towns. Mills became landmarks, and while much has changed, machines now do the backbreaking labor, the echoes of history still shape the culture of the Australian sugar belt today. By the 20th century, sugar wasn't just a crop, it was a backbone. Queensland and northern New South Wales became synonymous with cane farming. And today, Australia produces up to 35 million tons of sugarcane every year, shipping nearly 80% overseas. So when you hold that little teaspoon of sugar in your hand, know this: you're holding the weight of history, culture, and global trade. But let's leave history behind for now and move forward back to March, where everything begins. Planting, a season of promise. It's March. The sun is soft, the fields are ready, and a new season is about to begin. Sugarcane is unique. It doesn't grow from tiny seeds the way many crops do. Instead, it grows from sets, short pieces of cane stalk, each with a small bud. These buds are little powerhouses of future life. Farmers carefully select the strongest, healthiest cane as their source material. These are cut into lengths, loaded into modern planters, and then placed into furrows of freshly prepared soil. As the machines roll forward, the sets are fertilized, covered, and pressed into the earth, ready to sprout. Modern technology is staggering. Where once field hands planted stalks manually, slowly backbreaking, row by row, today's planters can plant up to 20 hectares a day. Imagine 20 football fields planted daily, with mechanical precision that ensures every piece is positioned perfectly. But science and data also play a key role here. Farmers carefully test soil health, rotate crops when needed, and treat fields with nutrients that give every stalk the best chance to thrive. For the farmer, this moment is more than technical, it is emotional. Each set buried into the earth is more than a stalk. It's a gamble, a hope, and an act of faith. Faith that nature will provide enough rain, enough sunshine. Faith that storms will not be too harsh. Faith that a fair harvest will come at the end of the cycle. With planting complete, the waiting begins. Within weeks, tiny shoots break through the soil, stretching toward sunlight, and the fields of bare soil slowly transform back into seas of green. Growth and irrigation, harnessing technology. From sprout to stalk, sugarcane takes nearly a year to grow. During these months, water is the single biggest factor in success. Sugarcane is thirsty, but in Australia, a land of extremes, water is precious. Too much and fields can flood. Too little, and cane cannot survive. This is why innovation has reshaped farming. Across Queensland and New South Wales, farmers rely on smart irrigation. Underground moisture sensors constantly monitor the soil. Drones scan fields from above, capturing detailed imagery. Real-time weather stations help farmers predict rainfall. All this data flows into computer systems, or even a smartphone app. With a tap of a button, a farmer miles away can decide exactly where, when, and how much water flows across his fields. No water wasted, no guesswork. The results are profound. Up to 50% less water is used compared to traditional systems, while yields remain high. This is agriculture meeting the future. And as weeks stretch into months, the cane grows. By mid-season, the stalks are taller than most people. By harvest time, they can tower up to 4 meters, giant green walls swaying in the wind. Sometimes walking between the rows feels like walking inside a green tunnel, with stalks closing in above you. Each stalk is swelling with sugar, sucrose, that the plant has stored from months of sun. Each leaf has fed photosynthesis, each raindrop counts, and each irrigation cycle has strengthened the crop. The fields are alive, and now the real anticipation begins. Nature's challenges and balance. But sugarcane's journey is never without challenges. Pests are a constant threat, particularly cane grubs, which destroy root systems underground. Left unchecked, they can ruin entire harvests. Farmers respond with a mix of solutions, from cutting-edge pest control to natural biological allies, introducing beneficial predators that keep pest numbers in balance. Diseases lurk too, spreading silently from stalk to stalk. Vigilance is key. Farmers inspect fields constantly, removing affected plants quickly. And then there's the weather. Queensland is no stranger to cyclones and floods. One storm can flatten entire fields overnight. Droughts can suck the life from young cane. Here, sugarcane farmers live with uncertainty as part of daily life. Despite these struggles, the crop persists. Because sugarcane isn't just tough, it's resilient. And with human ingenuity, farmers nurture it through thick and thin. Preparing the harvest. Flames and fire. At last, the time is near. After months of growth, the cane is ready for harvest. But before machines enter, a dramatic and ancient tradition lights up the night. The burn. Controlled fires sweep across fields, devouring dry leaves and undergrowth. Smoke plumes rise. The crackle of flames echoes under the stars. This is not destruction, it is strategy. Burning clears the leaves, removes pests, and makes stalks easier to harvest. It's faster, safer, and more efficient for the machines. Though controversial and carefully regulated, burning remains part of the sugarcane cycle across many regions. But change is coming. Increasingly, farmers are embracing green harvesting, leaving the trash on the soil to act as mulch, preserving nutrients and reducing erosion. It's a quieter process but packed with long-term benefits. Whichever method is chosen, the message is clear. The harvest is upon us. The mighty harvest dawn breaks. The machines roll in. This is the moment the entire year has built toward. The harvest. Mechanical harvesters, massive steel giants, move into formation. Guided by GPS and sensors, each harvester slices cane at its base, strips away leaves, chops stalks into billets, and fires them into waiting trailers, all at blistering speed. One harvester processes around 100 tons per hour. Imagine 50 cars worth of weight every single hour. Multiply this across hundreds of machines cutting across thousands of hectares, and the numbers stagger the mind. Up to 30 million tons of cane every year across Australia's sugar belt. The roar of engines, the crunch of stalks, and the endless streams of billets filling trailers. It's a symphony of industry, powered by the patience of farmers and the precision of machines. The urgent transport. But the clock is ticking. Once cane is cut, it begins to degrade. The sugar inside starts to break down. Delay is the enemy of sweetness. This is why transport is urgent. Trucks with 40-ton trailers race from farms to mills day and night. In some regions, small cane trains clatter along narrow-gauge railways, pulling long chains of bins piled high with cane. There is no pause. Every hour counts. And the race always leads to one place, the sugar mills where raw cane becomes refined sweetness. The mill, where science and industry transform nature. Step inside the mill, and you enter a world where raw nature meets steel, fire, and science. First, the cane is unloaded, washed, and chopped into fragments. Massive rollers, towering cylinders of steel, press down with unimaginable force, squeezing out every drop of juice. The crushed remnants, called bagasse, don't go to waste. They power the very boilers that drive the mill, creating steam, heat, and energy. Many mills are energy self-sufficient, their smokestacks standing like sentinels of progress. The juice flows on. It is clarified with lime, purified, then boiled under vacuum in immense vats. As the water evaporates, something remarkable happens. Tiny seed crystals form, growing larger, sparkling, multiplying. Industrial centrifuges spin, separating molasses from sugar crystals. Both are valuable, the molasses eventually becoming rum, livestock feed, and ethanol. The sugar crystals move forward, washed, dried, and screened into perfect little grains. Each day, a mill can handle 10,000 tons of cane, and what goes in as fields of green stalks comes out as mountains of dazzling white sugar. Perfection, package, and export quality is everything. Each batch of sugar is tested in on-site labs. Purity, moisture levels, grain size. Every detail must meet strict standards. If sugar doesn't pass, it doesn't ship. The product is packaged in every form imaginable, from bulk tons bound for industrial use to neat branded bags destined for homes. And then begins a new journey. Ships carry Australian sugar across oceans to Asia, to the Middle East, and far beyond. In fact, nearly 80% of all Australian sugar is exported. It appears in soft drinks, biscuits, cakes, sauces, all the small everyday places sweetness resides. The human and emotional story. But we must not forget, behind the machines, the mills, and the export statistics lie people. Generations of families who dedicate their lives to sugarcane. Farmers walking dawn-lit fields. Drivers hauling cane through the night. Mill workers drenched in sweat and steam. Communities whose entire rhythm beats in time with the cane crop. In towns like Mackay, Bundaberg, Ingham, and many more, sugar isn't just business. It's belonging. It's heritage. It's identity, passed down like an heirloom. When you hold sugar in your hand, you hold their stories too. Challenges, innovation, and the future. Yet the story isn't without difficulty. Cyclones sweep across coasts, floods drown crops, droughts parch the soil. Prices fluctuate wildly on global markets. And with environmental concerns growing, the industry faces pressure to reduce runoff and protect fragile ecosystems like the Great Barrier Reef. But innovation shines here too. Farmers adopt precision fertilizer systems. Mills improve efficiency. Green harvesting reduces environmental impact. Some are pushing for renewable energy from bagasse to power entire regions. The future of Australian sugarcane is one of resilience, adaptation, and hope, from field to spoon. So here we are, at the end of the journey. A single spoonful of sugar carries with it months of planting, watering, and growth. Fire and flame, machines and mills, science and tradition, communities and culture. Sugar is more than a taste. It is history, it is human effort, it is innovation, carried from the fields of coastal Australia straight to your hands. The next time you stir sugar into your tea, pause. Remember this journey. Remember the sunlit fields, the roaring harvesters, the steaming mills, and the people whose lives are interwoven with every crystal. Because every grain has a story, and that story is extraordinary. Thank you for being part of this story. If you enjoyed the journey, like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more explorations of how everyday products come to be. From the fiery fields of Queensland to your quiet kitchen table, this was the journey of sugarcane in Australia.